Hi, I'm Anand, and I had the great fortune of being a part of the Chiranjeev Gurukul Praathamik module earlier this year. For me, it was literally love at first sight. I had come across this idea, this concept, this module, or this institution, in fact, for the first time at Malakha Spice, when I was hearing the good work they had done based on Indic principles of leadership and management, which was in turn derived specifically from Kautilya's ArthShaastra. Now, I am someone who's familiar with yoga. I'm a trained yoga teacher. I've been learning yoga in its different forms and its fuller form in some ways as well, and applying it for myself and perhaps in some ways others as well. And for me, it's usually been my typical understanding till recently was about it's how the individual operates, and it's about the material and the spiritual, but from a very individualized lens. But I also recognize that we operate in a world where collective is important. It's either institutions or organizations or government and things like that. Then how do you operate together? And I'm an HR professional, specifically learning and organization development. So functioning of an organization has always been a thing of interest to me, and perhaps even some sense, a bit of frustration, saying that what are the right tools to operate with, and which have typically been from a Western point of view. And I'm B school educated. I've been to those places where you typically talk about the Harvard case studies and things like that, which are largely Western oriented. And here I came across, in fact, this was a talk about a case study, a Harvard case of Malakha Spice, based on Indic principles. So it was literally for me of great interest, and I fell in love with, and I immediately signed up for the course. In fact, I remember saying that, sign me up right away at the dinner table. That was a conversation like. Now, as I look back at it, it's been a few months since I did the course. There are three things that stand out for me. The first is just the rigor and the depth of content that the team has put together. I understand it was a collective effort of a lot of people, interested folks who came together, and it's world class in its quality, it's world class in its way it's even presented, for instance, and as a learner you'd look for those things. So it's really good solid quality of research, it's good solid quality of presentation and interaction and things like that. So for me that was a big aha moment. I think the second is different resources which were presented to us as learners. Each session had a lot of depth, as I said. It also had a lot of application points. The course held it a little loosely. It didn't impose on the learners to complete modules to be part of the next one. So in fact, I took a bit of a liberty out there, just coasting along the program a little bit at some points of time and just being there at least present, sometimes nominally. But I think for the serious learner, for the one who's a little more committed than perhaps I was, there's definitely a lot to apply directly. So it meant that you're not just listening as concept, which typically happens when one thinks about Indian knowledge system, because they tend to be more conceptual, perhaps more philosophical than practical, one may wonder. But here you had highly powerful practical tools available to work with. I think in conjunction, if I may add, the whole course also, in some sense, it lived what it was preaching. So using a lot of Indic frameworks that, again, as I said, the source comes from Kautilya's ArthShaastra, and playing those out in, again, the way they were facilitated, or the way in which the program itself was accompanied by different aspects such as community and things like that. So I think it lived what it was preaching or suggesting in some ways more directly. So I think those are two or three reasons why I felt it was quite unique an experience. I personally regret not having made the most of it, and in some ways for me, I'm recognizing that I went through it, and it's for me a big piece that I need to work on more. And more importantly, as I'm telling people about it more and more, my main message is go through an experience like this, especially if you've had a certain amount of exposure, if you've had a certain amount of interest in place already, then all the more. If not, if you're looking for a more authentic way of learning leadership, learning management principles in a very practical way, then this could be a pretty powerful source for you. So do look it up. Do look at Chiranjeev Gurukul as an overall organization entity in the work they're doing, and look at the Praathamik module. And I really hope that more of us folks, we play an integrator role, which is we are perhaps looking at what the West has offered in a good way, and then we take the gems from what's available here and really play the integrator role in a significant way. So best wishes, CG team, best wishes for the modules coming ahead, and I really hope you folks become more aware of it and take advantage of it. Best wishes. Thank you.